Welcome to On Point Live. Boy, these weeks have been flowing by. I got to tell you, I'm Michael Horn, but the stars of our show, two Los Angeles Ram icons. This guy here, quarterback, leading the Rams to the Super Bowl in 1979. How's that cannon doing? Was it left or right? I can't remember.
Oh, right-handed.
Right-handed, that's correct. Yeah, I'm just kidding you.
Forget.
We're talking about the great Vince Ferragamo. And then we got a Hall of Famer, 7-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl 79. He was there, 2 Offensive Linemen of the Year, 4-time NFC lineman. Jackie Slater, we like to call you maybe the coach, because I've heard more people tell stories, Jackie, about you getting them involved in football. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Michael.
Now, we're at onpointlive.net. I've got new and exciting news for everybody this week. Not only are we on CRN Radio at crntalk.com, and you can hear the show Tuesdays at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Pacific time, and then Wednesday at 11 a.m., Saturday at 8 a.m., and Sunday at 6 a.m. You can find that at our website, onpointlive.net. But we're now on Sports Byline. So we've got a bunch of radio stations you can tune into, and that's Saturdays at 8 a.m. on Sports Byline. So tune that in. They can listen to you, look at this, like 7-8 times a week.
Wow.
Same show until we get it right.
Yeah, right.
We'll get it right by the end of the
Much
week.
like myself, because I don't know if I told you guys, but after the show last week, I decided to change my pick. I picked the
don't try
Kansas
it.
City. I picked Kansas City. I was talking to Guru Corey, and I said, Corey, maybe I should switch, and I think he allowed me to. So,
well, I have a hangover from Super Bowl 59, that's for sure. You know what? I'd rather be lucky than good. Forget about it. I was a Chief follower, and I thought the Chiefs were going to win, but the Chiefs were neither lucky or good.
So
they were just bad.
Your regular segment on the show is rather be lucky than good?
Yes.
So this is it?
This is it. This is it. They were bad.
Well,
that's all.
Let me just ask one question.
Oh, yeah, Jackie,
I just want to ask one question.
Go right ahead, Mr. Slater.
I believe there was about 5 of us making decisions, 4 of us at least picking.
Of course.
And I think Corey picked Kansas City, along with you and Vince. Is that correct?
Well, that's correct.
Yes.
I
picked the favorite.
I think I was the only
felt
one.
sorry for Vince, so I said,
that
okay.
was okay. I do remember you asking me to leave the room, by the way.
All right, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl. We got a great guest here. C. David Baker's here. We're going to talk about the Hall of Fame and a lot of other good things. This is our show, On Point Live. Check out our website, onpointlive.net. You can follow us on Instagram, on.point.live. Our sponsor is harmonycheese.com. I'm eating the cheese because I picked the wrong team, I'll tell you. And the cheese is delicious. You got big patches of cheese, Jack.
Yes, I do.
You picked the winner. All right, so settle back. Stay with us. Don't forget to email us, onpoint@crntalk.com. onpoint@crntalk.com. Welcome back to On Point Live. I'm your host, Michael Horn, with the stars of our show, Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater, the Los Angeles Rams. And gentlemen, we brought some greatness into the studio with us today. We've got C. David Baker. Nobody knew what the C stood for. I thought champion, chairman, commissioner. Yeah, that's one of them. This guy, C. David Baker, Carl David Baker, has left really a mark not only on and off the field. President and CEO of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, commissioner of the Arena Football League, mayor and councilman of Irvine, California. The list goes on and on and on, and it's very much connected with Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater. Am I right, Jackie?
Absolutely. Dave and I go way back. He was the basketball coach when our boys about the same age were playing Little League basketball. And I often wonder when I looked at David, because David, you're about what, 6'8" or 9?
Yeah, I used to be.
You used to be.
I think I'm down to 5'8" now.
Wait a second.
Hey, but before you ask him about your prior relationship with him with the kids, you got to ask him about the football.
Yeah, that's what I was just getting ready to get. I was just about to get to that.
I got to get his impressions.
And because he's been watching a lot of football over the last several years. Dave, I wanted to know, what did you think about the Super Bowl here this past weekend?
You know what? It's interesting because I've been to about 34 of them, and I haven't watched that many on TV. So it was kind of unique to watch it on TV. And obviously it wasn't that good a game. Wasn't overly impressed by the halftime, and I didn't think the commercials were very good. But other than that, I thought it was great.
Dave, you looked at everything. You looked at everything. The commercials, the play on the field.
I do, because it was fun to get to know the business of the NFL and certainly the 105-year history of the NFL. I thought Fox did a wonderful job on some of their pregame broadcast. The one with Jimmy Johnson with AI talking about his life.
Oh, I saw that. That was cool.
The one with Brad Pitt talking about the huddle and bringing America together. Even the thing with Lady Gaga and Michael Strahan and Gail Benson there in the French Quarter. I thought there was some wonderful stuff. And as you guys know, you go to those events. For those of us who work in the business, you spend a week kind of eating on your feet because it's only cocktail parties. And then finally you get around and you go, hey, by the way, we're going to play some football as well.
Right.
But I thought the football, I'm a huge Patrick Mahomes fan and Andy Reid fan. And
there you go.
Just
that's why we took it.
That's right. Exactly. Did you pick him?
Dave? I think Clark. No, I didn't pick anybody. If I did pick anybody,
for a
He
good
just
game.
said he was
That's
a
all.
huge fan.
I thought the Eagles would win, but I don't want to pick anybody. I think Clark Hunt is a great owner, just like I think Jeffrey is, and I think Nick Sirianni is a serious coach. I mean, he's now been to 2 in 4 years. He won his first one here, but I thought that offensive line was spectacular. Even though the Kansas City sold out to stop the run, but they protected Hurts long enough for him to do what they did. I thought it was great coaching, great stuff, and again, more history.
You know, Dave, one of the things that just popped into my mind, you're about 6'8", 6'9", somewhere along in there. Nowadays, these offensive tackles, like the two playing with Philadelphia, are about your height. And I'm wondering, why was it? Because when I look at you and I looked at Sammy, I'm thinking this is offense. This guy right here. All his kids are going to be offensive linemen. And so what I'm wondering, Dave, what I'm wondering is how it happened. How did it happen that you were never enticed to play football?
Well, a couple things. I would say nowadays, all those 6'8", 6'9" guys are quarterbacks too. By the way, some of
that's right.
I always thought Ben Roethlisberger, if you put some weightlifting on him, could have been a lineman. But Jackie, I think when my mom and dad couldn't read or write. My dad came from Mississippi and my mom came from Arkansas, and sports was kind of my way out. I grew up in a 900 square foot house, and they were hardworking, loving people, but they weren't very sophisticated. And when you played football, there wasn't flag football there. Everything was weight restricted. So when I was 10 years old, they were going to put me with 15-year-old kids, and that didn't work.
Right.
And so by the time I got around to basketball, I went to high school, and I went to a 3-year high school, and I was a pretty good basketball player. And it got me to college for free because of the scholarship. It got me around the world with Athletes in Action. It got me a postgraduate scholarship to law school that paid for about 60% of it. So sports has changed my life, but I've always loved football. And in this next generation, we kind of got it fixed with both Ben and Sam being offensive linemen.
Right. We got that part right. Got that part right. Sam,
that's because of you, Jackie.
I have to agree with both of you guys. Jackie always says, and I'm sure you would agree too, Dave, that football is a big man's game. So I mean, that average height and weight of that offensive line for Philadelphia was 6'6", right, Jackie?
Right.
338 pounds. So that's the average height and weight. So that's a big offensive line.
That's a huge offensive line.
I have to go back and ask Dave, though, on your time as the CEO of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Dave, are there any accomplishments that stick out in your mind while you were there? I know you helped create the Hall of Fame Village there. It's a great center for everyone to come, and it's a great destination. Are there any other big accomplishments you think, looking back at your career?
Vince, I don't mean to brag, and please don't take it that way, because really I felt humbled to serve. Men like Jackie as Hall of Famers, and men like you who built this wonderful league. But I had a great time. We built a $188 million stadium there for the enshrinement and for games that I think is the best small venue stadium in the world, to be quite honest with you. We built Centennial Plaza so that, for the 100th anniversary of the NFL in downtown Canton, we had the ability to bring in, every player who ever played a down in the NFL, his name is listed there. My son's name is listed there. Jackie's son, Matthew, is listed there. Vince, your name is listed there. We brought in the Black College Football Hall of Fame so it would have a home. And that is very special to me because these are incredible guys with incredible lessons. And you don't have to, they're all from historical black colleges. They played a different brand of ball and they weren't supported quite like other guys were, respectfully from Nebraska, from USC. But boy, they have such knowledge and wisdom to share. And it's not just sharing for young black players, it's sharing for everybody, for old white guys like me. There were just so many great lessons. I think, we did do some work on getting other guys recognition. So Jackie has a bronze bust there, to be sure, to go along with his gold jacket and his ring. But Vince, you and every guy who played a game in the league have an archive there. And you can go by and your archive is kept and you can add to it. I thought one of the coolest things we did was frankly just the values of the Hall. To honor the heroes of the game, to promote the values of the game, to guard its history, and to celebrate excellence everywhere. And we had the opportunity to take 20 Hall of Famers twice to Israel. And Benjamin Netanyahu, who spent 90 minutes with most time, we took 10 Hall of Famers and their wives in a private audience with the Pope. And the Pope didn't know the difference between Jerry Jones and Jerry Rice, but he did know that, hey, sports brings people together, and those gold jackets mean something helpful. So I could go on and on. It was a wonderful experience. And I would say for me, if it was just about worshiping the heroes of football, I don't think it would have meant a lot to me. But I'll tell you, just like I had in my prior life before I went there, I got to know Jackie Slater as a man. And as impressive as he is as a 20-year NFL veteran and Hall of Famer, Jackie, and frankly, you, Vince, as well. If fans get to know you, you're much more impressive than a man than you are by this incredible image.
Thank you
guys
for those kindly
you
words,
guys are great
Dave.
guys.
Now we know why he was the commissioner.
Now we
We
got it.
we
Why?
certainly,
He's the man
I
in charge.
personally think, maybe I'm a little biased, but we certainly miss Dave as the
Absolutely.
CEO of the Hall of Fame
Absolutely.
and
There's
his
no doubt
values
about it.
and what you've meant for this great organization and this game of football. So,
Can I ask
Dave,
a
we
question?
certainly miss you.
Absolutely.
You guys
no
have
doubt about it.
monopolized it. Dave, if I could, how am I as an announcer? What do you think?
Mike, I'll tell you, I think you are destined, without a doubt, for the Hall of very, very good.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we got to take a break there. Check us out at our website, onpointlive.net, our YouTube channel. Subscribe to On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. Don't forget, we're giving away Harmony Cheese. We'll tell you more about Harmony Cheese when we come back. Go to harmonycheese.com. Email us your name and address to onpoint@crntalk.com. onpoint@crntalk.com. We'll be back. Welcome back to On Point Live. I'm your host, Michael Horn, along with Hall of Famer Jackie Slater, the legendary Vince Ferragamo, both the Los Angeles Rams. Our guest today, we're honored to have Carl David Baker. He's former president and CEO of the Pro Football League, commissioner of the Arena Football League, mayor and councilman of Irvine, California. Dave, you've impressed us all in many ways. You still live in Irvine, California, do you?
I live just around the corner from it, kind of here in North Tustin.
Yeah, because
my
you
boys
mentioned
went to Tustin High School, but yeah.
You mentioned earlier that Cox did a good job. Cox is a cable company. How'd you know that Cox is the cable company? Obviously, it is in your area, but also in New Orleans, there where the Super Bowl was.
Mike,
You're amazing.
One of the things you do in the business of football is you get to know your partners, and they're a great partner.
And you're the mayor and councilman of Irvine, or you were from 1984 to 1988. I'm sure you worked with the cable companies. We're talking a little bit about your journey as the president and CEO of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You held that from 2014 to 2021, and that's outstanding. People always questioning how this guy gets in, somebody didn't make it in, Eli Manning didn't make it in. You're no longer there now, but what qualities or traits do you believe, after being there in the Hall of Fame, define a Hall of Famer?
Well, I'll tell you, I was privileged to oversee the process. I didn't have a vote, but I oversaw the process, and it is a long, exhaustive process. I think the best of all the Hall of Fames. You have seniors who are in a category after being eligible 25 years as a present day, so you're trying to find those guys who slipped through. You've got present day players, and you start with 100 of those, and you get it all the way down to 15. And then you have contributors and coaches, which are second categories, which are done by committee. So you go into the room, if you will, right before the Super Bowl with 18 guys, and of that 18, you can pick from 4 to 8. This year's class was only 4 to show how hard it is. And not only do you have to be selected, but then you have to get 80% of the approval of the 49 selectors. You guys like Sal Palantonio or Peter King, who guys who really know their business in football. So it is not easy. It is very, very hard. And everybody thinks everybody should be in, but as I referenced earlier, it's not the Hall of Really, Really Good. It's the Hall of Fame. And if you make it, you can bet your bottom dollar that you deserve to be there.
That's great.
Yeah.
Dave, I agree with you, but I want to jump to something that I thought was fascinating. I had been in the Hall of Fame for a few years before you became the executive director of the Hall, and I remember some of the meetings that we would have informing us about the Hall and different things associated with us as Hall of Famers. And I remember getting through those thinking that we've got to get through this before we can go and do this, that, or the other. And I remember when you came on board, Dave, how captivating you were with so much vision about where you wanted to take that organization. And you did. You did a fantastic job of it. One of the things that I thought you did that I thought was so personal, and it was so influential within the body of the Hall of Famers, and also with, I think, a lot of the young people who aspire to be Hall of Famers, who were going to be on the ballot over that next few years. And that was you actually went and knocked on the doors of the people who were selected to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I thought that, if you're going to have someone contact me about being in the Hall of Fame, when I see this big fella walking up to the door, I mean, I can just imagine how these guys were feeling seeing you walk up to the door, knowing that was the only reason why you were at their house. Tell me, how did that concept come up? And it just amazed me that we won't be seeing you do that anymore.
Well, thank you, Jackie. It was real special. And my first year was 2014, and we decided to do things differently because I don't know how you found out, Jackie, but a lot of guys previously, they'd get a call or Jack Youngblood got a telegram, for goodness sakes. But what we decided to do was bring the 18 guys who were finalists to the Super Bowl, which that year was in New York, and we would bring them together. And then whoever was selected, we would go get them and we take them over to the honor show and reveal them to the nation live, right in the middle of the show. So we got done, and we're in New York, and you know what New York traffic is. So I called Michael Strahan first because he lives there. We got to get across town to Radio City Music Hall. My second one was Derek Brooks, and Derek Brooks was involved in the Arena Football League, so he was a buddy. I just wanted to call my buddy and said, "Hey, you're in the Hall of Fame." The third one was punter Ray Guy, who had been eligible for 29 years and never been selected.
Wow.
And he almost didn't answer because I think, as you guys know, my cell phone is area code 714 and not 330 like Canton, but he did. And he's got that slow Southern Mississippi drawl. And I said, "This is Dave Baker. I'm the new president of the Hall of Fame." And he said, "Yes, sir." And I said, "Ray, it is my great pleasure." And boom, I can hear him fall to the floor. I can hear his phone rattling around. His wife Sandy is going, "Honey, baby, sweetheart, are you okay?" And this is like 2 minutes, and you guys are on, on live timed entertainment now. 2 minutes is a long time when you're trying to get somebody to live TV. And finally, after all of that, he got up and he said, "Well," he says, "Hey, I'm sorry. I don't think I really understood until this moment how much this meant to me."
Wow.
And we knew then we had to share with the fans what your journey is about, because they most fans think that it's because you guys are bigger, stronger, quicker, faster. And I will tell you that the guys playing against you are big, strong, quick, and fast too.
Absolutely.
You had to figure out a way to get around problems. You had to figure out a way to persevere. You had to figure out a way to get around 1,000 people that told you you weren't going to make it. And what I loved about it was that at that moment when we started catching guys on camera, I mean, Kevin Mawai, cried, he couldn't stop crying. Morton Anderson, came here as a 10th grade exchange student from Denmark, went back 40 years later, and we took his bronze bust and gave him his gold jacket and his ring there.
Wow.
And but he went back at that time as the leading scorer in the NFL. And every person has a story. And at that moment, respectfully, the game, it is a business, and that business is making a lot of money these days for guys.
That's amazing.
But at that moment, when I'm knocking on the door and I'm telling these guys three things, essentially, that they're going to Canton, to thank them for everything that they've done and everything they will do for the game, and that we'll guard their legacy forever. At that moment, they're not thinking about their money. They're not thinking about their records. I'll guarantee you they're thinking about their mom that drove them to practice, or their dad that wouldn't let them quit, or a coach that inspired them to more, or teammates that helped them get there. And what I always loved being around guys, and I got to know them as men, not just as football heroes. I had conversations with Jim Brown that I would crawl to the other side of the earth to have with another good man. But these guys were men who made history, who, I can tell you what's so hard about retiring from the NFL isn't the money that you're not making anymore. It's the guys in the locker room that you're not getting to see anymore.
I can see
and
that.
There's such a brotherhood, and it's so special. And if we can just teach that to the rest of the world, it's going to be a much better place.
Dave, I think they see it every week with these two right here, with Vince and Jackie, Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater. And we're talking to Dave Baker, if you're joining us here in the middle of the show, the man who left his mark, you can say that, on the he was the president and CEO of the Pro Football Hall of Fame from 2014 to 2021. Vince?
Well, that was so exciting to see the anticipation and that surprise, that knock on the door. For us viewers at home, to see the reaction of the Hall of Famer and the expression, the emotions that they had, Dave. And I think as Hall of Famers, you're sitting home waiting to see if you're listening for the knock at the door. And how many times did that go around? I mean, it's like, is Dave knocking at the door? Who's that knocking at the door? Who's at the door?
But for a while, I felt like Ed McMahon with the Publishers Clearinghouse, if you remember what that was about. But Jerry Jones had all his family and his grandkids in the room just in case I knocked. And he wasn't sure how they'd feel about him as an owner. But I'll tell you, I don't know what Jerry's got, $8 or $10 billion, but this was something that money couldn't buy. Eddie DeBartolo, who you both know pretty well, but I think for Eddie, this kind of affirmed and redeemed his life. Jerry Kramer waited 45 years for that knock on the door. And everybody asked me what's my favorite one, and each one is a favorite. When I knocked on Brett Favre's door or Peyton Manning's door, they took 10 seconds to select. Everybody knew they were going to be a first round ballot Hall of Famer.
Dave, did you have a favorite Hall of Fame speech at the induction ceremony?
Oh, I think there's a couple of them. I thought LaDainian Tomlinson was spectacular about Team America.
Jack, you were there.
I think that Peyton Manning was one of the first guys, because we were doing a whole bunch of guys that time. Jackie, if you remember,
yes,
that was the 100th anniversary year, and we did 20 for 2020. But Peyton did a great one. But Jackie's listened to all of them. He may have others, but again, I think every guy tells a story. And what I love about it is, when you talk about a guy like Morton Anderson, who got cut and was 16 points away from having the NFL record, but he stayed at home and he practiced for 2.5 years before he got picked up again. There's a lot of people at home on the couch waiting for their call.
You got it.
There's
We
so
are-
many wonderful stories.
Dave, hang on here with us. Dave Baker is with us, former president and CEO of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, commissioner of the Arena Football League, mayor and councilman of Irvine, California. Boy, check us out here. Tell everybody about our show here. Go to our website, onpointlive.net. Watch us on the YouTube channel. Subscribe there, On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. And pick up some HarmonyCheese.com. It is delicious. It's great. Super Bowl is over. Other holidays are coming up. We got so many things to celebrate, maybe just a weekend together. So go to that website, HarmonyCheese.com. Enjoy a great cheese pack. And Vince is putting in some of his wine from Ferragamo Vineyards. You can win it by sending us your name and address to onpoint@crntalk.com, onpoint@crntalk.com. We're back with On Point Live. I'm your host, Michael Horn. The stars of our show, Jackie Slater, Vince Ferragamo from the Los Angeles Rams, and a great guest today. David Baker is with us, former president and CEO of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, commissioner of Arena Football from 96 to 2008, mayor and councilman of Irvine, California. Dave, you've had such a great career, and we're hearing these great stories about the Hall of Fame. How did you get to that position? If you can, quickly for us in the essence of time. But you were a mayor and councilman. Did you want to go into politics first? You did that in 1984 through 88, and then all of a sudden you go into the Arena Football League, and then to the president and CEO. What was that ride like for you?
You know, it was a lot of fun. It was a little expensive when I bought an arena football team, I'll tell you. But I kind of got drafted into being the commissioner. I went in to see Paul Tagliabue. He then turns to the guy next to him and says, "Hey, I want you to meet once a month with my sidekick here, my right-hand guy." And that guy was Roger Goodell. And we had dinner, pretty much religiously once a month for 10 years before he became commissioner. And I was doing it with this emerging league. He was about to get ready for it. And we developed a strong friendship. Jerry Jones was one of my owners in the Arena Football League.
Wow.
And when they thought there was an opportunity to maybe take the Hall to another level, both of them came and asked if I would look at doing that and living in Canton. And it was a wonderful experience. I love the game. I love the guys who built this game, not just as football heroes, but as really exceptional men of character and courage and compassion. I feel that they have changed the world. So it was a lot of fun to do that. And
You've
it was
changed
my
the
great
world.
privilege to serve.
You know, Dave, you've changed. Dave Baker, you have.
There's no
Jackie?
there's no doubt about that. And Dave, I want to say this, and I want to ask you this question and make a statement at the same time about what I witnessed with my own two eyes. I had been in the Hall, several years before you came. And one of the things that I remember about going to the Hall of Fame annually was listening to a lot of people give a lot of boring speeches, and some of it was centered around these new players coming in, but most of it was just a lot of talk, not really a lot of vision about what they saw possibly happening with the Hall of Fame. I remember being in attendance for your first meeting when you met with all of us Hall of Famers, and not one person left the room the entire time that you were talking. And the things that you shared with us was inviting all of us to come along with you as you grow the business of being Hall of Famers and the responsibility of being Hall of Famers. I will never forget that first meeting with you. And what I'd like to know is what spurred you, what made you feel that there was so much more that we could be getting done, things that we never even thought about, Dave. What was the inspiration for all of that growth that took place under you? Where did it come from?
Jackie, it was from men like you, guys like Vince. What you have done, coming from a historical black college, playing with other players who are white. I believe the game, just in that area of race, and this is just one of lots of areas. But, there were 1.7 million casualties during the Civil War. None of that may have meant as big a deal. And you know that my son, Sam, who you cared for and coached and encouraged, is married to a beautiful young African-American lady. I got two interracial grandsons that I just go nuts for. And my dad, by the way, was from Mississippi, okay? So how does that happen? It happens because of football. It happens because he got in a huddle, and in that huddle, the great line that Bill Curry had was about the 10 men he met in the huddle. And it wasn't about their color or their faith or their ethnicity. It was about that they were committed together. And in my life, I'm fortunate. I got a legal degree. I got a great college degree as an English literature major. But I'll tell you, so much of my life was shaped by coaches who teach you how to get up when you get knocked down, or keep going when you don't think you can go any longer. And again, I see you guys doing that stuff today. Vince, with your flag football league here in Orange, you're teaching that to families that are coming together. And some of those families are Asian and Black and Hispanic and white. But man, when you come together, this is America. And so I believe that the values and virtues that are learned from this great game, and I can point at great length through the 105-year history of the NFL and tell you how when Jack Kemp came together and moved the All-Star game from Louisiana to Houston because they weren't going to let Black players stay in the same hotel, there are countless repetitive deals of men of courage speaking up for each other. And I think there is more to learn from sports. Frankly, you can learn how to process information at a great school, but you can learn how to live life from a great coach.
Well, you're right, Dave. I think those acts have definitely improved the game and makes it what it is today. But, as you mentioned earlier about flag football and youth sports, today now you have new aspirations. And we talked recently about youth sports, and in particular flag football. Jackie Slater is the commissioner of our league in Orange County, and I know you're expanding your outreach there to help kids, because teaching at an early age means so much, and get kids to enjoy the game, and that's going to propagate the game for future years. So I know you're very interested in helping kids and the youth. Tell us a little bit of some of your aspirations now moving forward in your retirement. You want to stay active in sports.
Yeah, Vince, I don't play golf or anything like that. And so if I'm going to do something, I want it to be something that helps kids and families. And so we've started a group that will launch, we think, at the end of March here, that is called World Youth Sports, that will bring the highest level of professional sports management to both the youth sports experience and to the youth sports business to create what we think can be a dominant brand. And again, take some of these lessons. Our mission is to bring the children of the world together to make a difference beyond any imagination. So this isn't just in the United States, this is children everywhere. And Jackie was kind enough to come at our house when we had the president of the American Football League in Israel and one of his captains of his flag football team that hopes to compete in LA in the Olympics. But he was saying that, hey, for every terrorist that they kill in Gaza, and this guy had just come from there, he said they create 20 more. But in their football league, they've got 3 Palestinian linemen blocking for a Jewish quarterback. And they're making brothers. And so I've seen that happen in race. I think that it's happened in Title IX for women. This is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And we want to do this. The three of us are here in California, where we've spent $25 billion on homelessness the last 3 years. And during that time, homelessness has almost tripled.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my son one day, and he said, Dad, he says, I think the only way we can really do something about homelessness or poverty or racism or anti-Semitism or any of the other ills of our society is to get the kids before they get there and get them on a team and fill them up with hope, health, happiness, and love.
Dave,
And
sports.
That's what we want to do.
Sports is that great unifier. And working with these two guys, and now talking to you today, you guys give back. And, when you talk about Vince Ferragamo, you talk about Jackie Slater, we got to close with the story, because your son, Sammy, you wanted him to play basketball. You, Dave Baker, former president of the CEO of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, played basketball. but I guess there was a chance meeting between Sammy and Jackie, and what happened when you were going to a sporting goods store?
Well, listen, it wasn't a chance meeting. I was coaching a group of third and fourth grade basketball players that had Matthew Slater on it, perennial All-Pro in the NFL.
Coach.
And my son, Sam.
Yeah.
And, sometime we'll have to come back because Jackie talked about my son being an lineman. I want to know how Jackie's son got to be so damn fast. Okay, because that's the real mystery.
Yes.
But Matthew, just a tremendous kid, and I love him to death to this day. But my son gets back in the car after basketball practice, and he said,
"Coach,
hey, Dad, can we go get a football today?"
Wait. You're the basketball coach, and he asked for a football.
Can you throw it, Dave? Can you throw it?
No. I said, son, why do you want a football? And he says, well, Mr. Slater said that I look like a tackle and I could be an NFL tackle. I kid you not. Okay.
And he became one. And he became a great tackle.
I said, son, we can go get you one. Absolutely. I said, but you need to know that Mr. Slater played 20 years in the NFL, and I don't think he touched a football once. But he did. And by the way, Jackie helped him and my other son. Jackie's been Vince is a friend, but Jackie's been a dear friend of our family that has shaped the lives of some of the people I love. So I'm grateful for that. But I will also tell you that my son, he was a four-time All-American at USC, counting his redshirt freshman year. He was a first-rounder by the Falcons in 2008. And all of that came from Jackie Slater identifying him when he was 8 years old.
Good role model, Jackie. Attaboy.
Jackie, you're the man.
Count us in, Dave, for any of your youth programs, okay?
That's good. Now, shall we?
Hey, guys, thanks for the privilege of being
Dave,
with
hold
you.
on a second. Jackie and Vince, you guys are big fans of Harmony Cheese. My gosh, Jackie, you've turned your refrigerator into a store display with Harmony Cheese. Do you think can we send a package of cheese to our buddy here, Dave Baker? What do you think?
And a bottle of wine.
Vince's wine.
Yes.
You got the Ferragamo Vineyard.
We got to get your new address, Dave.
My wife loves Vince wine. Absolutely.
There you have it.
Well, thank you,
Super
guys.
Tuscan, Ferragamo.
And then come and knock on our door just to give us a thrill, would you please?
Guys, I will be happy that, and I want to thank you. You guys made this really easy. I want to thank you for all you've done for the game. And when Jackie, you were talking about my height, I really want to thank you for not talking about my weight.
It would have been a perfect offensive tackle with the Philadelphia Eagles, Dave.
You're good, Dave. Heal up, buddy.
Dave Baker, everybody. Guy left his mark on the sport. He's a former basketball player, played in Switzerland, doctorate degree from Pepperdine University School of Law, commissioner of the Arena Football League. He owned a team, mayor and city councilman of Irvine, and president and CEO of the Pro Football Hall of Fame right up until 2021. What a guy here. I'll tell you, that's pretty good stuff.
He's a great guy.
He's great. He was great to have on. But you know what? We didn't get a chance to talk too much about Super Bowl, did we,
we may have to next week, but that's okay because I don't know if our picks actually were computed by the guru, Corey.
I had my suspicions.
What's your suspicions?
My suspicions were that we weren't going to spend much time on the Super Bowl simply because
everybody
here picked Kansas City except for me.
Everybody knew Philadelphia was going to win.
Jalen Hurts was awesome, man. I'm telling you. Again,
he was.
MVP of
Good
this
defense.
game. Great coaching staff. Why didn't they
about
go
Lane
seven-man line?
Don't forget
with
about
the
Lane
Kansas City
Johnson.
Chiefs. 7-man line. Let's
Nobody
go
is
protect
playing
the quarterback.
seven-man line. They
couldn't
just
stay in the pocket
got to figure
a
out how to
second.
deal with the guys up front. That's what the problem was. They didn't know how to deal with Lane Johnson.
Block. Let's go.
6'6", 338 pounds on an average per man, and you think
they stopped Saquon Barkley cold?
Well, that was a part of the plan. They
couldn't stop Jalen Hurts, though.
They didn't stop Jalen Hurts.
And there, ladies and gentlemen, is our analysis. These two shouting at each other right before the show started and now continuing into it. They will calm down and next week have some key factors that'll go into the thing.
6 sacks, only 3 yards rushing in the first half, 23 yards.
I don't think they got to.
Total yards.
They didn't get to Jalen Hurts 6 times.
Jack, you couldn't step back in the pocket and step up and throw without anybody around.
They
looking for a place to run.
They got to Patrick Mahomes 6 times.
But they didn't think about
Have you ever seen Patrick Mahomes panic? He panicked.
He didn't panic.
I've never seen more panic in a quarterback in all
our
of my
website,
days.
onpointlive.net. You can check that out. YouTube channel, subscribe to On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. Instagram on.point.live. And don't forget our sponsor, HarmonyCheese.com. Enter to win a Harmony Cheese pack and some Vince Ferragamo wine. Send us, email us, us your name and address to onpoint@crntalk.com. Onpoint@crntalk.com. They'll continue here during the break. We'll be back with a wrap-up. Stay with us at On Point Live. Welcome back to On Point Live. Michael Horn, Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater. Just found out we're on Rumble also right now. You can watch the show on Rumble anytime you want. Let's go over, guys. Better lucky than good. What in the world? Let's see some picks here. AP's most valuable player, Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills.
Better lucky than good. Okay, there's nothing. No one was lucky and nobody was good for the Chiefs. Okay, forget that one.
Got
So
that.
MVP, that's your what in the world, right?
Absolutely. What in the world? What in the world?
What in the world?
How do you look at Josh Allen's numbers and Lamar Jackson? I love his speech. He's a sweetheart of a guy.
Yeah, no.
But Lamar Jackson had 900 yards rushing. He threw 40 touchdowns.
And how many
only
interceptions?
4 interceptions. There is no way that you can justify to me why this guy, unless they want to limit the number of MVPs that they give to any individual.
Well, they should have asked us who we would have voted for. We both would have voted for Lamar Jackson.
I love Josh Allen.
Yeah, no, he had a great year,
MVPs.
but not better than Lamar.
Limit the number of MVPs. Good one, Jack.
That's a good one. Limit it. They got to limit it.
Defensive Player of the Year, Patrick Surtain of the Denver Broncos got some guy in there.
That was
Defensive
a
back
surprise.
was a little bit curious that the defensive back got it instead of Myles Garrett.
And there was a lot of chit-chat going on between Myles Garrett and T.J. Watt during the season. Even J.J. got involved in it.
He said he was the best anyway.
Defensive Player of the Year, Saquon Barkley, Philadelphia
Oh,
Eagles.
I knew that. I like that
one.
I figured that one.
Okay.
Offensive Rookie of the Year,
yeah.
Jaden Daniels.
Hands down.
You know,
Hands down.
Bo Nick's a close second.
Okay, Defensive Rookie of the Year, you got Jared Verse from the Rams.
Well deserving.
Well deserving.
All right, even though he talked bad to the Philly
I
fans.
know.
Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals, Comeback Player of the Year, quarterback there.
Yeah.
Good.
I was a little torn there. I thought Joe did
Darnold,
well, but Sam Darnold,
Probably one of the best quarterbacks.
He came back from the abyss.
Yeah, Sam Darnold did.
Coach of the Year, is it Andy Reid? As I was saying, his best coach.
Well, you know,
No,
I
Nick
thought Sean Payton
Sirianni,
had a
no.
great year because he had a rookie quarterback. So I would have.
It was
might have
Kevin
leaned that way a
O'Donnell,
little
though.
bit.
Minnesota
Kevin O'Connell.
Vikings.
Yeah,
Kevin
O'Connell,
O'Donnell, yeah.
Just-
Assistant Coach of the Year, Ben Johnson, Detroit Lions. Isn't he gone already
Oh,
now?
yeah, he's a Chicago Bears coach.
Chicago Bears now.
Along with all those other
Stealing
candidates
everybody
that
left
were
and right.
runner-ups.
Yeah.
We'll have that on
Glenn.
the show next week. Oh, boy.
Aaron Glenn.
All right, got to remind you, we are giving away some Harmony cheese to all of you out there if you enter our contest. But go to the website, get some cheese, harmonycheese.com, and you can also send us your name and address in an email to onpoint@crntalk.com.
Did we have a winner this week,
At crntalk.com. I think so. We'll announce it next week on the show. I think we're two behind. Don't forget
here
to
we go.
check us out. Subscribe to our website, onpointlive.net, our YouTube channel, On Point Live with Vince and Jackie. Check us out at crntalk.com. All the show times are posted up there for you. Final thoughts from you guys?
Oh, man. Great football
See
season.
you next week, huh?
Yeah,
Great
disappointing
football season.
Super Bowl game, but it'll be a
good
better
week.
one next year.
We'll see you next time on Point Live.